these things messed up on our slide here.
What?
So these slides are wrong. I am so sorry, guys. So podcasting is YouTube, is Facebook, Twitch, TikTok. Broadcasting is more for like an online radio station that's using an FCC license. Those are very expensive to get a hold of. If you go through the U.S., you can go through other countries to get those licenses. Again, they do cost money, and if you have the means to spend and want to put yourself out there and with a lot of upfront cost, you can definitely go ahead with the broadcasting method. But podcasting is a lot more budget friendly. It is more versatile. As you can see, we're using audio, we're using visuals, we're using audio, of course.
We're using a lot of things
we
right
even
now.
have a slideshow on this screen.
It
will be on this screen. So anyway, so we're using mixed media here. Excuse me if I'm not late.
Oh yeah, full warning. Yeah, there are certain things. A good friend of ours, Manny Jones, who's in the Twitch chat. FCC has their own set of rules. So, and that really does depend if you're doing online or you're doing actual broadcasting like FM, AM. So, big thing is licensing, which is something we don't do. We do a lot of free stuff, and we're going to show you those resources because that's a really good thing. Is everything now is free.
So, fun fact: we used to actually do broadcasting through a radio station that was online. And they acquired their license through
Canada,
a Canadian company, a Canadian-based company. And when we were hired on to start our original show, they said to us, "Yeah, you can say anything you want. I don't care. You can have sex on the air all I care. You're allowed to. We have a Canadian license. It's basically free game." Obviously, so we did not take that advantage, but we could have.
Yeah, we could have, and we don't. Even now that we're not into online radio, we do podcasting, which that is the benefit of doing podcasting. The sky is the limit. Depending on what your topic is, depending on whoever you go through, whether it's the different platforms we talk about, like Spotify, YouTube, the list goes on and on. You can get away with certain things, but still, always read the fine print.
Yes, make sure whatever license or whatever program you're using, or any, if you're using a sort of license, of course, make sure that you are abiding by those rules because, as you'll see in the next few slides, there are fees that are associated with breaking said rules, which again can add to your cost if you're not careful.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yeah, so to get into that, before we even start jumping into licensing and everything, we want to just give you the basics because this is for any budget. Because we can tell you right now, we did this completely on our own. We got the equipment, we did our research, and that's really the big thing is if you're on a tight budget, I can tell you right now, being an educator has taught me a lot, especially being mobile and especially having to be a remote teacher now. We've had to really figure out what equipment is feasible and on a budget. So the good thing is, as long as you have got a basic computer, and right now we're actually doing this on a web camera and a desktop, or you could do it on a laptop.
I was just going to point out, as you can see here, this black back screen, this is not an expensive little green screen. This was made out of
a bed sheet.
A bed sheet that was cut in half and sewn together, lengthwise. So I had a backdrop. That was $5 from Walmart.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you're needing to set up a green screen, or that's the thing, you can really. I give YouTube and Pinterest. Those are the places to really go and get your ideas to figure out. Okay, how can I do DIYs? But so we did the back screen. We have basic equipment from literally our webcam, which. You can use that from a laptop, or you don't have to have a webcam. We just like doing visuals because it gets to look pretty.
Right. So again, let's go over the slide here with the basics. You have your webcam, microphone. That could be via the webcam or one of these. Bonk. Anyway, so we'll get to that in a minute. That's the advanced equipment. So webcam, and most webcams do have a microphone, and maybe some headphones, or as simple as this smartphone that I have on right now. But it has the camera, which is usually pretty good resolution, has a decent microphone in it. That's a start. Everybody has a phone, so start from what you already have. No upfront cost. Now, we go to the other side here. We go to the advanced, and as Roxy here was showing you, this is a great little microphone. I definitely recommend it if you want to buy a microphone. A lot of people use this. You see these in press conferences. This is an SM57 Shure microphone. And the only reason, I'm not paid by Shure, I wish I was. But the reason I say this specific microphone and its brother, the SM58, is because I can smack the piss out of it. I could throw this downstairs. I can actually throw it on the ground. You probably heard that.
The big boom.
This thing is a tank. Okay, so
Quite
if you're
literally.
clumsy, and if you have if you have dog hair, make sure you don't drop it on the floor.
Try and keep your studio clean.
But the SM57 and its brother SM58 are both great vocal microphones that cost about $100 or less. If you get it at a secondhand store, you can probably get it at $50.
How much did we pay for that one? What, 50?
This was $100. This is brand new.
And then my model.
But the other one, which I can't find, it's all beat to hell, and it works just as good as this, and this is brand new.
Now, like we said, that's a Shure, so that's a bottom. It's still a good quality because they retain their value.
It's not a bottom quality.
I wouldn't say bottom quality, but it's if you needed to get a...
Panic at the Disco uses Shure microphones. The President of the United States uses Shure microphones. You can find, like I said...
You can find them. Shures are out there.
You will see this microphone after today, and if you go nuts like me with equipment, you will see this microphone again. Moving on from microphones, I could talk to about all day. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a difference here. We have condenser and dynamic.
Can I pull the other one down so we can see it?
The microphone we're using...
Sorry, brief little...
Let me try to move it in camera here.
So you can see it.
This is a condenser microphone. It is a condenser microphone. The difference between a condenser microphone, like this, and a dynamic microphone, like the Shure SM57, is that... You can move this out of your way now. Is that the condenser will capture a room. And that could be a good thing or a bad thing. Right now it's a good thing because we are in a panel setup and I can't be right next to the microphone, so for audio purposes it is great to have a way to be able to capture a room, especially if you have guests or multiple hosts like me and Roxy do. But if you are in a noisy area or are a single person, this is perfect because how this receives sound, reason why it's called a dynamic microphone, is that it receives sound only from the front end here. If it's off to the side, you'll barely hear me. If you're back here, you're not going to hear me. Okay. Obviously, I cannot show you guys that right now, but you'll take my word for it.
And the other thing, if you are going to be doing a professional microphone, whatever mic you get, you're going to need a soundboard. Now, you can start with a basic 1-2 channel. We actually run on a 4-channel multi-channel, so you can add different inputs and outputs, which is great if you are going to be doing like game streaming, adding other effects, or even trying to pipe others in from your studio. So this is actually mine. We unplugged mine from my computer today. She has to go back. But I just have usually my first 2. Easy thing when you go get a mic is you can get an XLR cable. And there are XLR cables that have a USB in, so if you don't want to use a big soundboard, you can get a digital soundboard, which is free. That is a good resource to have as a backup. But XLR cable plugged into this, no matter what mic you use, you can tune it, fine-tune it, tweak it to what you need it to. If you're needing to add sound effects, add bass, treble, you can do that. And I love it. I went from a 2-channel to a 4-channel, and then we just use the 4 channels for our shows.
Right. And the best thing for us, especially if it's just you're using one microphone, is if you, well, take that back. If normally you only use one microphone at a time and you have a soundboard this big, and you have multiple microphones for depending on what kind of recording you are, like with the dynamic microphone, if I was recording vocals for a song, I can switch it over to spot 2, and it has its own line of settings. So you can really just plug and play,
because I do that a lot when I do some of my recordings or my vlogs. I switch over to my different settings that I use for my classroom settings. And I actually use more of a dynamic mic for that clear tone. Does anyone know their pronouns? Oh, we are so sorry we did not share our pronouns.
I will take care of it in the chat. Don't worry.
Okay.
So keep going.
But soundboard, that can get pricey. Really good thing is always check secondhand stores. Go to music shops. Talk to your music. I will say talk to the people at your music stores because they can guide you to what best suits your type of recording, whether it's music or it is doing exactly podcasting or broadcasting. But we do have the camera. You don't need an expensive web camera, or you can have the most top of the line Nikon camera. You just have to have the things that hook into your computer.
So what we're saying is you don't need to do it like PewDiePie or like Jacksepticeye or people, like these big, especially YouTubers.
Yeah.
You'll see some of them using like Canon cameras, but we're using the Logitech 920, which is probably the best-selling webcam on the market, and you can see why. It does great.
Yes.
And we were even able to set it up in different formats. So if today we could not use the landscape format to get a good visual on the screen for you guys, we were able to move it. Adjust
we had to
those.
shrink.
So it has its cool little digital tools. So you don't need an expensive camera to achieve some effects.
And the good thing with using the Logi or the Capture program that goes with the camera, you can change colors, you can add banners underneath it, you could do a lot of stuff. So this is where really the content creation is up to you. You get to have fun. But the other thing is optional is having an advanced computer. It does help to have a powerful computer if you're going to be doing heavy duty streaming, whether you're adding different elements like cross-platforming using games, so you might have to have a video capture card.
Audio pipelines, encoding audio, especially for broadcasting, that takes a lot out of the system and it takes up a lot of bandwidth. And that's another thing to consider, is your bandwidth. How much information can you process and not diminish the quality of your podcast?
Which is something we didn't realize actually this past year that we were low on. So always talk to your internet providers as well. So, because you can find out some really good tips from them as well on how to get some things started. But equipment, you got the baseline, what you got, and then you can go into the advanced. So really it depends on how long and what you want to do with your content.
And just
so with budget.
Yeah, and not to brag, but we're talking about advanced computers. To run when we were originally running our radio show, what we have in front of us was extremely necessary. We had multiple monitors. Right now we're running 3 monitors now.
Thank
we
God.
were running 2, which was difficult, and of course the gaming rig. So you may want to consider a second monitor if you're going to do something on a PC. It makes it a lot easier to be able to put your audio editing or broadcasting software like OBS, which we'll get into the next, one of the next slides here. Sorry, I get excited about this.
This is their niche. This is their happy place. But very much kind of like what we're doing right now. We have 3 monitors going. Like we have our camera in front of us with our PowerPoint. We have OBS on this side. We have our YouTube and the Twitch and even my tablet running for me. So I can see all of your lovely comments in chat. So basically, basic setup, you could probably do this under $100. So with what you got. Advanced setup, that can get pricey. Depending on the equipment.
Have you seen how much it costs to how much it costs to make a computer nowadays? I did. I was sticker shocked.
I feel sad. I'm like, I will never be able to advance my computer, but that's okay. I'm okay with what I've got. So really it is up to you where you're wanting to go and how much you're willing to put in. We did this on just our small budget and what we had around, and then very much went to Goodwill, went to our local secondhand and found a lot of this equipment.
Fun fact, Amazon is your friend.
Amazon is your friend.
No matter how much you're against it, there is a condenser microphone starter kit for I think $50 to $100.
Yeah.
And it has it goes by several different names, but it's not it's some Chinese brand name, and even though it's not a Shure microphone, it's not an Audio Technica, it's not a brand name microphone. We used it. It worked great. It's way better than this Razer headset. Even though that may be all you have is a Razer headset. It works.
Yeah. I mean, if you've just got this basic setup, go for it.
But it all depends on what kind of sound quality you're trying to go for, and what you can afford, of course.
Yep. So that advanced set can be very much hundreds, thousands of dollars, and that's not even including your licensing. So, for example, like we were talking about when we did our radio show online, our owner had to buy the broadcaster licensing, and just the program alone, and then giving it out to each of us was $300 plus, and that's not including the fines if you break your licensing contract. So that can get into thousands upon thousands of dollars, coming back to that FCC rule. So big thing is, budget-wise, if you're wanting to do just a simple podcasting or simple just broadcast stream, go for it. You've already got good programs out there, which we're going to mention here in a minute, one of which we're running right now. So, and at the end of all this, we'll have the PowerPoint resources, and we will send them out to you. I'll put them in the Burf Discord, so everybody can see.
If you want to grab them.
So yeah, we've got all the resources you need. Or if there's new ones you've discovered, please share. We are always looking at new things to add to content, to help you guys do what you want to do. So big thing budget, you can start with nothing, or you can go as expensive as you want. But our resources, which we are using a lot of them right now.
Some of you right now are using YouTube, which YouTube has a great, the Creator Studio.
Which they just updated.
Facebook video has gotten way better since we made this this slideshow here.
Oh yeah, they just went through a whole overhaul again, so it's beautiful.
So it's a lot more user friendly, and OBS is a godsend. It's free.
It is free,
which is great. It's easy to use.
And you can even get it through Twitch. Twitch has their own version called Streamlabs OBS. Same thing. They just have all the extra little frames and extra things that you can put into your OBS, where we just do basic.
And then also we have your digital soundboard, especially if you don't want to go into this big boy. You don't have the room for it. You don't have the money. You don't want to use it. I don't blame you. Okay. There's Voice Meter Banana. There's Audacity, which is a good editing program.
It's a good recording and editing program.
But Voice Meter Banana specifically is your equalizer. That is your soundboard. You can run digital pipelines through it to pipe in different people and bring it all out to one output, which is really great for especially if you're doing a show from different sections of the world. Which
was what we were doing, and that's actually what was really great, is especially if you're using Discord. I will admit, Discord has now been added as a official resource now, because I utilize it for my job. Thank you, Discord. But you can actually use Voice Meter Banana and do those pipelines into your Discord. So if, say, you're doing a Twitch stream and you want some of your people from Discord to join you, you can get them in. And yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Streamlabs has started to make that better, and I like that Streamlabs, Twitch, aka, and OBS are working together with this.
Yes, thank you, Manny, for that.
Thank you, Manny. Manny's our other go-to person we have questions for communications because they're majoring in it. But we also have more of the visual. So if you're wanting to do more visual, and this is where you might need an editing program. If you don't have a Mac, that's okay.
We don't either.
We don't either.
And I don't want one,
but there's a great program. I've actually been using this program for over a decade now, and it gets constant updates, and I actually have the lifetime subscription. It's like $180 for a lifetime subscription, but they update it all the time. That's Wondershare Filmora. I literally put them up against Apple, and they're very close to Apple and Sony's video editing program. And I use this professionally in my career, so that's the only reason I mention it. But you do get a free trial. The great thing is it is a free trial. You get some of the bonus packs and everything that go with it. But say you don't have that audio editing program, you can use YouTube Studio. You can use Facebook Producer now. they've embedded that into their creative studio production.
And if push comes to shove, and you
Push comes to
have Microsoft Windows Movie Maker,
If you still
it
have
really
that,
works.
if
Still,
you still have Movie Maker, that's the only reason I don't have her listed. Is depends on which computer you have. Windows Movie Maker still does work. Just 2000 and up, 2010 and up. Don't go to the old.
Work
It ain't
with-
gonna work.
work with what you got. I used to
Yes.
make graphics on MS Paint. Okay, you know, use it if you know how to use it. Use it. Okay, say.
And the great thing is, if you're not used to OBS, you don't know how to get YouTube set up. If you're confused about Voice Meter Banana, I will tell you, YouTube is your go-to thing for setup. For me to understand OBS, I had to watch several videos. But that was okay, because then they literally walk you through the process. Streamlabs does that for Twitch. YouTube has, in their actual production studio now, how to help you make your broadcast stronger. Which now that YouTube has added this, we're going to start utilizing it. So there's things we're constantly updating. Don't stick to one set of things while you're growing as podcasters or broadcasters. Yeah, Final Cut is your best friend if you are on a Mac.
We are jealous. Trust me.
Yes. I've been envious of Final Cut for decades.
I still refuse to buy a Mac because they're too expensive, and I can't afford one. So-
Eventually. And like we said, you don't have to have all this equipment. You can literally do anything you want. The sky is the limit. And that comes to content. For example, I do...
You ever heard of Seinfeld? It's a show about nothing, and it was
It is
very
a-
successful. So, you know...
That was what I was going to try and segue into that joke.
Exactly. So, So, the best thing to talk about is something that interests you, because that is what's going to motivate you to do this show, maybe weekly, daily, however, monthly, and forever how long. You know, if you're talking about something you're not interested in and you want to make a show last an hour, you can force that hour and you're not going to enjoy it. It's going to be the most exhausting hour of your life.
We have done this. We had a 3-hour slot when we did a radio show, and
Thank God for music and radio.
Thank God for music. But with podcasting, you have to eliminate that because of licensing, unless you've got the licensing and you can... Well, I'll give you this. Spotify is starting to get better with their podcasts because they actually say, hey, you're a podcaster. Guess what? We have a whole list of resources you can use, a lot of music you can use. Same with YouTube. Streamlabs, yep, and has a little support for Twitch thing. You'll need the full, sadly, main OBS is still
and
your
the
best
other
friend.
issue with music is that a lot of companies have started cracking down on music, where if someone in the next room is playing Despacito, it's going... Facebook has picked that up and muted some of our shows.
Yes. When we have nothing playing in the background, it is actually picked up, sadly, our neighbors.
So if you have make sure your phone is off if you have a copyrighted song, because it will mute that spot in your video, which may be a good thing because you maybe not want to have the phone ringing.
But with content, it's literally anything you want. The only thing we say within reason is going back to whatever platform's policies. So always double check the policies.
Refer back to the guidelines of what you are broadcasting under.
I feel bad. That's such a teacher thing to say. But the good thing is you can do anything.
But you have to know that these rules exist, and we have to follow them, unfortunately, because it only takes one click of a button for them to remove our videos.
Yep, one click. And so I think that's why I think we're going to be going more back to YouTube, because YouTube's getting better.
No, they're not. Anyway.
We'll try. But the good thing is, like, for example, I don't just do podcasting. I do video blogs. I do blogging. I'm a writer, mainly. So if you're a writer and you're like, well, I want to do this, guess what? There is a section for you on Twitch. I just found this out. There is a section just for us writers who want to just stream our ideas or hold workshops. The sky is literally the limit for you. Hey, anything for podcast identification, like making jingles. So, jingles are something.
We have we've used
jingles before.
We've used some type of copyright free music to introduce our radio show when we had it. It was the same song, intro and outro, so people were queued up and they perk up and be like, okay, the show's about to start. And that's a great thing to get people's attention, because then they know hey, they're people that they're listening, they want to listen to, or is about to talk. It's a great what is that thing?
It is an
Like a
ID.
notification on your phone, like when it pings, like, hey, someone on TikTok just uploaded a video. It's kind of the same situation. It gives you your audience that same bit of excitement, and that brings them back, and it may put them in a better mood when they start your show, and be more apt to sticking around for it.
So with the jingles, that's more relating to radio, because you can do it with podcasting, but that's when you start getting monetized.
I don't want to hear it. You used to hear Jacksepticeye go, "Top of the morning to you, laddies. My name is Jacksepticeye." If you want an opening line,
You can do it. Go for it.
Don't let her stop you.
No, but I'm saying
Don't
like
let her stop you.
Sorry, technical terms. Jingle refers to radio.
It doesn't matter.
I know.
But so like, if you want to do an intro song, make sure that you have the rights to that. Or if it's copyright free, use it. But be consistent.
Be constant.
That way,
consistent.
that it's like the Pavlov's dog thing, or in our household, Pavlov's cat, because the cat gets a treat every time he rings a bell. I'm dead serious. But it's that same thing. It's a bit of excitement that comes up with them if you use that same sound. It just to trigger that emotion. So yeah, it can, and it also, if you have an interesting intro or jingle or what have you, it can bring in new listeners, and new listeners are like, "Ooh, what's this?" So again, if you want to use it, use it. It's a great idea.
And it's really going back to whatever your content is. It really does depend on what your content is, and that's where sitting down sometimes and just kind of talking about it. That was the big thing we did. We just sat down and we talked. We're like, what do we want to do? We loved doing our radio show so much. We're like, we don't want to stop. What can we do now? AKA, we get into podcasting, and we've been doing it for over a year now. We've been back gradually for a year, and sadly we haven't put any new content out, but that's the big thing. Like, you can take a break. We are going to tell you this. It is okay to take breaks. Life is important.
As one of my coworkers has said to me, have balance in your life. Doing stuff like what I'm doing in computer work, they saw me overworking and they're like, "You seem stressed. You should take a break." And I'm like, "I gotta get it done." It's like, you need to have balance in your life. So it's good words, very wise words, because it will drive you nuts if you start to get to the point where you've done it over and over and it's getting repetitive and you're not enjoying what you're doing. It's just gonna snowball. We've been there. So
we got a question. Has someone, as someone who's considering broadcasting communication as their major, I will definitely send you probably to Manny, because he's actually doing the communication part. As their major, what advice can you offer on the industry as a whole? I will tell you...
Minor in something.
Minor in something. This is coming from a professor.
I would minor probably in maybe video or some kind of AV, because the broadcasting and communications, fantastic. Unfortunately, though...
It's a saturated market right now.
No, it's not a saturated market. It's a dying market. In the old way, as far as radio.
Yeah.
As people are going into podcasting, people are switching to Spotify. That's where you're getting your music from, where your talk shows, or maybe your whatever.
Even Audible's doing it.
The broadcasting and communications, I don't know a lot about. So I'm speaking out my ass here. So I don't know a lot about.
I can speak a little.
Let me finish my
thought.
Go for it. But I don't know, other than I know it was very big for radio broadcasters. Minor in something else. That way you have two skills that are combined, and you can put yourself even maybe more forward, getting into maybe behind a camera or in front of the camera.
And to add to that, my brother actually got his degree in broadcasting communications, and the industry there... If you are wanting to go into that industry, the greatest thing is to get an internship. Get an internship so you have your foot in the door. Great example, Manny has an internship. So that's helping them with that door, putting themselves out there in the industry. Because that's the big thing with that, is you have to put yourself out there in that industry to be seen. Something that we should add to this slideshow is that, because that's a great question, another way to put yourself out there is do voice acting.
There are websites that you can put up samples of your voice and put yourself out there. And that way you can actually make a little money, possibly. If you think you have a golden voice, make use of it. But it definitely puts you out there, especially if you're trying to get into the radio industry. While you're moving forward into that career path, do some voice demos and try to sell yourself. And that's in a professional manner. We're way off topic, but yes.
Well,
that's exactly.
We're talking about the industry. We're jumping into it.
And again, this is podcasting to broadcasting. This is sky's the limit. So we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah. So keep asking questions. We like these questions. But yeah, I will tell you, totally hit Manny up because they are going into specifically broadcasting for radio.
Manny Jones FM
yeah,
on our
talk to
chat
them.
here.
Creating a demo reel. Bingo, yeah, Blue Canary, which, thank you, Blue Canary, we love you. Yeah, demo reels help. For us on our YouTube, when we were transitioning from our radio show to a different format, we actually made an announcement video letting our listeners know, hey, guess what? We're no longer doing radio, but guess what? We're doing this, and you can still listen to us. So just putting an announcement or a PSA public service announcement out there can also get you out.
And one other thing is that if you do want to put yourself out there and you do want to try to make a little bit of money out of this, or just, again, try to get your name out there. So someone did say a demo reel. That's great. Another thing is you can put together a whole website that puts you out there, and you have your clips. You can have videos. You can have stuff that is easy to make, like, what is it called? I'm not doing it because I have to make these myself. WordPress is great for that.
Actually, our website is now a WordPress.
And you can publish your WordPress on Netlify for free.
Ooh, I didn't know about that part.
Or maybe Heroku, but that's a pain in the butt. But Netlify is a free hosting service.
And also, I'm glad you brought up WordPress because we have a WordPress site. And actually what we've done now is we actually went from one podcasting server to another, which actually works hand in hand with WordPress, which is called Anchor. And Anchor, you can actually set up a podcasting website. So that is something new that I actually was looking at as we were going through our archives, and I'm the archivee, so I get to do all the fun stuff. I actually found that. I was like, oh, cool. I got my WordPress already ready for us. I just got to press 2 buttons and link it. And that's the great thing. You can link everything. You can link your social medias. You can link whatever you want to your WordPresses. So even building just a show, you got to have some way to promote. So we do social media, and we have a website now.
Or even do a shameless plug on your OnlyFans. Not that kind of plug.
No.
Wait, no, don't do that.
No.
But no,
tell you don't do it. Don't do it.
But
let me go to...
But no, yeah, putting yourself out there is a great thing. What I've learned in the past few months is definitely it's very important. And if you want to go out there and major in something like that, make a portfolio online. It's really easy to make, like stuff like WordPress, hosting sites like Netlify. It's free. So again, hosting, broadcasting on a budget, you can do it for free.
But which great question, by the way, and I'm sorry we kind of went on a little bit of a tangent, but we actually do like questions. We actually like to answer questions about things. But
I got this one.
Go for it.
I got this one. So
go.
If you are a good furry, you should always give credit to anything that is not yours. Okay, so it's the same thing in broadcasting. Always give credit. If you do not own that music, credit that music. If you don't own that logo, or you paid someone for that logo, give them credit. Pass on the wealth.
AKA
we gave a few furry artists customers because of our logos. So
AKA don't plagiarize. That's all I'm saying.
Don't plagiarize. You're such a teacher.
Well, it's the same thing.
No teach, only bonk.
But the reason we say this is because you can get into a lot of trouble. And this is going back to licensing. This is going back to copyright. And the reason I'm saying this is because I have tried looking for copyright. I read the copyright laws. I know them. And that's partially because I had to learn them. So it does help, one, also to go back, of course, to those guidelines. Make sure, what can I play? How do I need to label it? Because even with radio broadcasting, when we were in that, we actually had to label the music correctly. And this was stuff from our personal libraries. We had to label it properly so, oh, okay, we can't flag you or you get a fine for this.
Oh yeah, we were heavily warned on that because if it was not, if you had to go into the properties and even edit it, because if it was not tagged properly, the encoding program which we were using with Sam Broadcaster would not show the correct credit, and therefore it could be flagged by the FCC and any other, even our Canadian license. So even though we could fuck on air, we had to have our music labeled correctly. So if you're gonna make like a raunchy sex tape, make sure you label your music correctly.
Your whole goal today is just to get me to just...
Look, I've been in quarantine. This is my first con back. Okay, I am going to be...
Same here. Same here.
I'm going to have fun with it, so...
But also, on the flip side of that, with the copyright laws, there are tons of things that are public domain. I can't emphasize that enough. There are public domain images. You can very much promote those small businesses, those furry artists, or those artists who build logos for you. Use the public domain or the copyright free music that YouTube, Spotify, Twitch, whoever's got it. Still, even though you have those listed, even though you're using free content music, still label it. I will tell you, even though this is something I've found out recently, even if you do label it, sometimes YouTube can still flag you. So always make sure to give credit. Always give credit, because there's people that work out there. Is it bit cheering enabled? And Manny even said this, they were required to actually purchase in their own... If you're working for a radio station, you actually have to purchase it. And so that's in the licensing.
Yes, and that's a legit radio station. So, yeah. Licensing is a big deal. And if you mess that up, you can get fired, and you can cost your company, or even you, if you're the one, fronting that money, that's on you.
Yeah, so don't do it. So that's the big thing. Read the policies for your platforms.
If you can, work under someone else's license. It's
if
safer.
You are doing radio broadcasting, do work under somebody's license. That does help. But research. Always do your research. Because that's something when we go looking for music, or we're wanting to change backgrounds or use other content, we still want to promote that other person because it's like, this is their work. We love them and give them credit. But also, if it's free, we still want to give those free artists credit as well and not get flagged. So give credit no matter what, and do your research. Can't emphasize that enough. Is the Willem screen considered public domain?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
We'll have to do research after the panel.
Oh, Scream, not Scream.
The Wilhelm.
Oh, okay, the Wilhelm. I know which painting you're talking about. The Wilhelm screen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is public domain.
Public domain, but it's under a private collection.
Okay, so.
Sorry,
if
when in doubt, go research.
When in doubt, cite your sources.
Go look.
I had to tell her students that. So Roxy's an English professor, if you guys didn't know.
I know all the crazy policies, sadly.
Anyway.
So that's a good thing.
Was that it?
I think that was it. Oh no, it started over.
Let me press these buttons.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it. So.
But questions from you guys. We love questions. I know we've talked for, 50 minutes. Well, 50 minutes. It is public domain. Awesome.
Fantastic. Great. So
from what I remember, it was public domain, but it depends if it moves collections, because it is moving around.
Fun fact, you can blame Disney for screwing over public domain. You can do your research on that. I'm not going any further than that. So
yeah, Disney.
But yes, do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, because after the panel, and this will be in our... Do you have to... Yes!
Do you know about copyright on social media posts?
Yes, actually...
You do?
Yeah, we actually just went over this. Great, teachable moment.
Oh, well, there you go.
So the big thing with social media is, 10 minutes till the next panel. With copywriting social media post, you still have to cite who said that post. And that gets into whatever format you want. If you want that resource, I can gladly type that real quick in the chat. But yeah, when you're doing social media posts, you have to, if you're citing somebody else or you're mentioning another person's social media, you still have to give that person credit. period, no matter what, because that could be brought up in legality and shit like
and
that.
I'll reiterate, if you question it, it takes a couple of keystrokes, just to cite someone or to give someone credit. So, and it's the right thing to do.
Yep.
So if you're wary about if the source needs to be credited or not, do it anyway. It looks great. It keeps your CYA cover your ass. Or CYT in the furry world, to cover your tail.
But we love these questions. There is 10 minutes till the next panel, so we do want to give the next panel enough time. What is our podcast? We didn't mention what our podcast is.
So we will move that to the next. Go click the slides over. We'll just pull it up there. So our podcast is SpittinFur. If you look under our old name I think you can look up SpittinFur, just spelled just like that in one word.
Yep.
On Facebook. That's where we currently are doing our shows. We also have a Spotify. So that's a great thing to use. Again, using that Spotify is that you can take the episodes that you've recorded, even if they are video, like what we're doing right now. We could rip this and take that audio and shoot it and put it right into Spotify. It's free.
And the great thing is with YouTube, we use YouTube, and that's where our video archives are going. Because we still like filming on YouTube, because we still like having that interaction with our viewers.
You can also take advantage of Google Drive, Microsoft Cloud, OneDrive. Is ways to store video. But yeah, YouTube's great for online. And
cool, it does come up on Google now.
Yay! Finally!
Yes!
Now tell Facebook to change our name.
Yeah, tell them.
Because it's still our old radio station name. So that's a little fun history. If you guys are interested in our show, you'll know what our original show name was.
Yeah, our old episodes are still on Facebook.
Yes, they are.
But, I mean, we're changing it up. I have my own little show that I'm bringing back slowly for more, which is transitioning from audio to vlog. Do you caption your videos? We actually do not, because that is one thing that is very difficult to do on Facebook, and with YouTube, you actually have to you have to enunciate. I'm sorry.
The auto-generated captions
Don't
do
work.
a decent job, or to enough where it is a oversight in our opinion, and it's our fault. But we choose not to.
We use Facebook, and Facebook doesn't have the closed captions. I wish they did. But YouTube seems to, you can go in and type in your own subtitles, or you can do the auto-gens.
Or you can hire someone to do your own subtitles if you don't have the time.
Yeah, you can do that.
But when you go actually into podcasting, there is a lot of work there, and depending on how much work you put into it, and things like captioning, doing it manually, it's just, after you record an hour-long show, you don't want to listen to it again and caption it. Just let YouTube do it.
Oh yeah, YouTube captions
they're great.
can be
I love
hilarious.
them. Now the better ones is that they have like your big YouTubers. I'm off topic now, but like Jacksepticeye, his captions are written for him, and the person who does it puts in little inside jokes if you watch the captions. So it's like, geez, Jack, learn to talk, or something like that. It's hysterical.
And it's because very much the auto-generated ones don't work.
So if you want to add that little Easter egg feature, perhaps, again, you, like using that jingle, it's not necessary, but you can do it.
Sky's the limit. That's the big thing. Recommendations on getting yourself out there without having to spend any money on ads.
All right, so
go there.
Facebook is pretty. I know you guys I know a lot of people hate Facebook, but you can kind of play the system a little bit. If you produce enough content, whatever you want, they will sometimes offer you credit, $5-10 of credit that you can use for advertising, and we've used that credit so much and not spent a dime.
I think we've only done it once, and that was for like an event.
Because I think we had a special guest. I believe it was either.
Oh yeah, I know who it was.
Who was it?
It was Cleo.
Was it Cleo? Oh, okay. So
we spent money on Cleo, but that was okay.
We spent money. Yeah, so we spent money on the credit's nice. So if you do have a little extra money and you want to pay for the advertising, you can get, instead of like $10 worth of advertising and get this much, you can get that $20 worth of advertising, because they give you, the range, and you have this much coverage. So instead of this.
So it is really like, we don't really do any now YouTube, that's really you. That's up to you if you're wanting to monetize. But that is, make sure you do read YouTube's rules on monetization. Facebook, you're at least a little bit more in the clear. Twitch has their own monetization system as well.
Okay, so we have 4 minutes left. If anybody wants to get any other questions in before we are kicked off, let us know. Otherwise, we will get those material ready for you that we promised if you are interested in grabbing
all I gotta do is get the PowerPoint and then the resource link into the Discord, so you guys can have access to it. And if you have any recommendations for us on things, by all means, you can reach out to us.
Another thing I just thought of for getting your word out is Facebook groups. Share your post everywhere. Get friends to share it everywhere and just flood people's news feeds. Okay.
Yep.
All it takes is someone scrolling down, seeing, they go, "What was that?"
AKA, we gained somebody that way. They're like, "What?"
I know they see this gorgeous face and go, "Man, she was hot. Let me go back." No, but anyway, when they're scrolling down, if somebody's just sharing your stuff, it gets out there. I've always seen those things like how many countries can we get this post shared to, and it gets out there. If one person shares it and another person shares it, another person, it gets big really fast. So take advantage of friends, family, resources, share in groups. Using you can share links in Telegram and Discord and Facebook.
You can go everywhere.
Anything.
We will
drag your friends to watch you. I literally contacted people before this panel. Hey, do you want to check out the panel? So we at least had someone to talk to.
Which we actually have had a lot of people to talk to, which is nice.
And the one other thing is that we didn't talk about is it is very weird talking to just a microphone and not someone else when you're putting on a show. Get used to it. It gets
old.
It's hard, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you get.
I think that's why I'm so used to teaching now online, because I've practiced and I do this. And that is a good thing. If you're not used to this, I will give you a little tip. Go stand in front of a mirror and actually just talk. Talk to a mirror.
Or
it
any
works.
Inanimate object.
Talk to your animal. Practice on your animal. Not that way.
Oh, we don't talk. Bad.
Talk to your animals. Have a conversation with them. Practice your content like that. Talk to them. Pretend you're having an interaction like, hey, look. Do that. Practice.
One other thing. Don't ever pay attention to your listener numbers.
No.
Because
it's going to feel sad.
For the longest time, we had less than 10 people listening for months, and if you let that get to you, you're never going to do anything. We do this specific purely because we enjoy it. If we were here to do it for cash, we would be in trouble.
Yeah.
So let's see, what is our favorite topic for your broadcasting? Sex. No.
You.
I like talking about life because I know it. Or at least my life.
We just like talking.
But
we get an idea for like a subject and we just kind of talk about that subject.
I do like wholesome stories, but it was really hard with doing the radio show. We were trying to do something like a morning radio show. People know how that stuff goes, and it's really hard. I love doing that, but it's really hard if you don't have the right people who talk and keep that conversation rolling. So if I can get a good conversation rolling that could either lead off to segues that are funny or meaningful, that's my favorite broadcasting topic, if you want me to be purely honest with you.
But
okay, we are being kicked off, guys.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
Yes, we're glad that you guys enjoyed this, and we're glad we got to do this another year. So hopefully we get to see you in person at Burf next year. But you can listen to us. Check out our YouTube, check out our Facebook, and we'll have this stuff in Discord for you. So we'll see you later. Thank you, Burf, for having us again. We love you.
And hopefully we'll see you in person next year.
Yes, bye, guys.